Hey guys, I figured that we'd do a driving video today. I wanted to do a video on the museums in Houston, or at least several of the museums in Houston. There are many museums here in Houston, and several of them either have free days where they're open all day for free, or they're open for certain hours on that specific day, or they're always free for admission. I'm going to drive over to the museums and we can look them over, at least from the outside. Some of them don't allow videoing on the inside, so we'll at least check out the outside so that you know what to look for. And I'll give you the name of the museum, the address, and the admission prices, or what days they're free, or if they're free all the time, and their hours of operation, as well as the prices to get in. So if y'all are looking for a thing to do with either family or friends, or just for you, and you're not sure where to go or what to do, I hope this video can help you out. So we are headed right now towards the museum district, where most of the big museums are. But if you do some research online, you'll find some smaller museums here in Houston that are either free to visit all the time, or have free days that you can go. And they are close to the museum district, but they're not in the museum district. So we're on the way to one of them right now, and I'll post the video as we get there. First place I want to talk about is the Menil Collection. Their main building is under construction right now, so I can't go over there and go in. But they have some other locations here that I can drive over to and talk about. The address for them is 1533 Sol Ross. It's in Houston, Texas, and the zip is 77006. They are supposed to be opening back up this main building the summer of 2018, and admission is always free to get in. They're open Wednesdays through Sundays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Besides this main building, they have the Rothko Chapel, the Byzantine Chapel, a cafe, a bookstore, and a light installation building. Everything else is open right now except for this main building. So if you wanted to come over, you can still go to the cafe and the bookstore and the two chapels and the light installation. So I'm getting ready to go over and show you the two chapels that they have here. They're considered museums as well, and they're actually pretty neat to go into, but I'll video those here in a second. Around the corner from the Menil Collection on Upon Street is the Byzantine Chapel. This used to house a fresco from an island over by Italy, and it was on loan for several years because the Menils fixed the fresco, repaired it, and they housed it inside this chapel for a few years. But they've had to their contract to show it was over a couple years ago, so they've sent the frescoes back, but this building is still here and still open. And I know that they show some of the Menil's collection here in this building now. Next up, I'll go over and show you the Rothko Chapel. Behind these trees is the entrance to the Rothko Chapel. This is a non-denominational, non-religious chapel. Any religion is welcome to come in here and meditate, any belief. It's really an awesome place to come in and just relax the mind and meditate for a little bit. They have a reflecting pond over here with an obelisk outside. So it's a pretty tranquil place to come. This is about a block away from the Byzantine chapel. If you continue moving on that way, it's the Menil Collection is about 2 blocks that way. There's not really any place to park right here, so I'm just gonna drive past it and show you. This is the Museum of Fine Arts, and I will talk about it here in a minute as soon as I can find a place to park for a minute. Okay, so I couldn't find a place to park for the Museum of Fine Arts to show you much of anything that's in that building or at that building, so I'll post some pictures as well with this video to show you what the outside of the building looks like and some of the things that they offer. They do have several buildings in their complex, and there's a cafe in there. They also have a sculpture garden, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But the address for the Museum of Fine Arts is 1001 Bissonnet in Houston, 77005. They've got varying windows that they're open, so I'll go through the list of it. Tuesday and Wednesday, they are open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thursdays, they're open 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. and admission is free on Thursdays. All day. Friday and Saturday, they're open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Sundays, they're open 12:15 p.m. to 7 p.m. It looks to me from their website that they are closed on Mondays. The prices to get into the Museum of Fine Arts, it's $15 for adults, $10 for seniors and military, $7.50 for students, and if you are 12 and under, it's free to get in. The sculpture garden is open daily from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and it's free to get into the sculpture garden all the time. Across the street from the Museum of Fine Arts, from what I've seen, and I wasn't able to get video of them either because there was no parking, was the museum, the Contemporary Arts Museum of Houston. Their address is 5216 Montrose. Zip code is 77006, and I'll post a couple pictures of what it looks like so you can see. Admission to get into the Contemporary Arts Museum is free all the time to get in. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, they are open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Thursdays, they're open 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturdays, they're open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And Sundays, they're open from noon to 6 p.m. Next up, I'm here in a parking lot across from the Museum of Fine Arts. The Museum of Natural Science. There's so many museums that I'm going to today, I'm forgetting which one I'm at. So I'm close to the Museum of Natural Science, so I'm going to actually get out of the car and I'll walk over there and videotape the outside of the museum and give you all the information for that one. Okay, so this is the Houston Museum of Natural Science, this big building behind the statue. The address for it is 5555 Herman Park, and the zip code is 77030 in Houston. The permanent exhibits are free on Thursdays from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. On Mondays, they're open Mondays through Sundays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Like I said, they're free on Thursdays. from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. To get into the permanent exhibits, it's $25 for adults and $15 for children, seniors, and military. They have a planetarium that's there as well, that's open Mondays through Sundays, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's $9 for adults, $8 for children, students, and seniors, and $6 for military. The Butterfly Center, which is this glass pyramid looking thing, is open Mondays through Sundays, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's $9 to get into the Butterfly Center for adults, $8 for children and seniors, and $6 for military. They have a giant, what they call now a giant screen theater. It at least used to be called the IMAX. I don't know if maybe IMAX is pulled out from sponsoring the screen or not, but they have a giant screen theater, from what they say, that has different showings and different prices. So it would be best to look on the Natural History Museum website to get the showings and the prices for the movies, or showings for the giant screen theater. If you're wanting to make a vacation out of it, you can come to the Hotel Zaza. It backs up to the Museum of Fine Arts. It's a really nice boutique hotel, and you can sign up to be a member or have a loyalty card. You'll get discounts for staying there as well. Here's another view of the Hotel Zaza. Like I said, it's a boutique hotel, and if you join their loyalty program, you'll get discounts for staying in their hotels. It's right here next to the Museum of Natural Science and behind the Fine Arts Museum. Here, around the corner from the Museum of Natural History, is the Health Museum. The address here is 1515 Herman Drive, Houston 77004. Unless you can find a place here along the street to park, they do have a parking garage or a parking lot here at this museum, but you have to pay to park in it. So I am parked in a no parking zone right now just to do this video, so I'm gonna have to move pretty quick. Admission is free on Thursdays from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. here at the Health Museum. The hours are Mondays through Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thursdays is 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And like I said, it's free to get in Thursdays from 2 to 7 p.m. And Sundays, it says they are open 12 noon to 5 p.m. Okay, prices are $10 for adults and $8 for children under 12 and for seniors. It's free for children under 2 to get into the Health Museum. So when I was doing my research for the Holocaust Museum, getting the prices and the hours and everything, I kept wondering why they had a different address than this one, which is at Ben's and Calumet. Now I see why. They are remodeling their main location, and so their temporary location for now is at 9220 Kirby, which is 1 mile south of Energy Stadium. Like I said, their main location here, once they're done remodeling, is located at Calumet and Ben's. I've been inside this location before several times to see the museum. Even at their temporary location, their hours are Mondays through Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 5 p.m. They are free. Admission is free to get in on Sundays. All day on Sundays, it's free to get in. The prices are $12 for adults, $8 for active duty military and AARP members, and it's free for children, students, and college IDs with college students with a valid ID. They are closed on certain major holidays, both Christian and Jewish holidays. So it would be best to check online with them to see what holidays they are closed on and which ones they are open on. And the last museum that we're going to look at today is the Children's Museum of Houston. This is right around the corner from the Holocaust Museum and a few blocks away from the Health Museum, the Natural History Museum, and the Museum of Fine Arts. The address here is 1500 Binz, B-I-N-Z, Houston, Texas 77004. They do have a parking lot here, or parking garage here for the Children's Museum. And you do have to pay to park in their parking lot. Admission into this museum is free on Thursdays from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Their hours of operation are Tuesdays through Saturdays 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays from noon to 6, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Prices are $12 for anyone over 1 year old, $11 for seniors and military members with ID. And if you bring children under 1 year old, then it is free for them to get in. The one kicker for this museum is that to enter the museum, you must have a child with you. You cannot just get in with a group of adults. Okay, so that's several of the museums that we have here in Houston. I did not cover a few off the top of my head that I'll talk about here in a second, but if you research online, you should find out some information about these other museums and be able to check them out on your own. Some of these others are the Buffalo Soldiers Museum, the Funeral History Museum, the Printing Press History Museum, the Maritime History Museum, and the African American Museum. And there's plenty more that I'm just not thinking of off the top of my head, but Houston has a ton of museums. And it would be a really neat thing to be able to check out the museums if you've got a day or several days that you just want to museum hop. I know that a few of the larger museums have a museum pass. If you go to their websites, you can find out all about it, where you can pay one price and get a pass to all the museums. And I think you might be able to ride on the monorail, or not monorail, but the metro rail that's here. I'm thinking of Disney World too. But they have a metro rail and some metro buses that go around to the different museums. So I think that might be included in the city pass too. Like I said, the websites for all the museums will have that on there if they're a part of it. So I just wanted to at least give you a little bit of information to get started, and hopefully this has been helpful. Thanks.